Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys Collect-A-Build Frost King Wave Endless Winter Batman. Now before we get started here, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the Endless Winter Batman does come with a collectible trading card, which is nice to see some artwork from the source material back on these collectible trading cards, at least for this build Frost King wave, because I kind of missed this. Lately we've been getting some toy photography stuff on the trading cards, and it's not my cup of tea. But here's the front. Got a cool picture of Mr. Bruce Wayne himself there. And there is a bio on the back, which you can pause and read at your own leisure. There is that. Then he also comes with this. What is this? Is this a batarang? Is this a bat drone? Is this a bat thing he can't hold because it's too big for his hands? Yes. So, yeah, cool thought. I guess it's the thought that counts. But not the most effective accessory. And it's got that little red dot on both the front and the back. So, yeah. Take that for what it's worth. And last but certainly not least, he does come with the trademark hockey puck stand, which we're used to seeing in this line. I actually quite like these. These are very useful for other toy lines I collect, so I don't mind having a bunch of them. I know some people don't care for that and would rather just have something go into the figure instead, but hey, it's something extra. Taking a closer look at our Endless Winter Batman here, and I gotta tell you, he's given me Christmas Story vibes. Reminds me a lot of Ralphie's younger brother Randy, because he can't put his arms down. Yeah, that's my only gripe with this figure, is you literally can't put his arms down past this point. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Other than that, this is a fun figure. He's bundled up to walk the streets in my neighborhood, because you'll freeze your balls off in upstate New York. Not like 2 minutes outside of New York City. It's literally north of Albany. For those of you in the New York area, y'all ought to know what upstate New York is. None of that in between Albany and New York City crap. That's city folk talk. But at any rate, he is really cool looking. Has his big old winter coat bundled up to shovel some snow. My dad, a.k.a. Mr. Brian, a.k.a. the old man. But at any rate, he does have a fully masked head here, which we're not used to seeing with Batman. At least not the Bruce Wayne Batman. So that's kind of interesting. I do quite like that. It kind of has a Commando Snake Eyes vibe going on with these goggles here. He's got slightly longer ears, but not too long to where they're really long, and not too stubby to where they're like up against his head. I'd say that's about the perfect length for a traditional Batman ear. He has some armor on his legs there. Definitely fits the winter theme though. Definitely. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, it's going to be a little hindered because of the coat, that's given. But his head can look side to side, look up and down a little bit, and tilt as well. His shoulders go out to the side pretty far. Be careful with the shoulder pads, they might get stuck on the bicep cut, but should move out of the way for you. They do move forward and back. He does have a bit of a ball joint in there. It works pretty well. He's got a bicep swivel. Double joint in the elbow, which works pretty well. You can get pretty good range. It doesn't look the best. He's got the Cliffs of Dover going on in there, but what are you going to do? This elbow is a little loose, but it seems to have stiffened up since I got him. It's not terrible anyways. It's not the loosest thing in the world. He does have a hinge in the wrist, though. And it pretty much just moves in and out. You do have the swivel on the top and the bottom, but the way the kind of armor plate and coat cuff around the hand restricts it a bit. He does have a diaphragm joint and a ball joint in the waist, but it's very hindered because of his coat, which should be obvious. You can kind of move it out of the way a little bit. Get up in here and rotate that waist around, but it's very, 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 very restricted. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. His ab was also a little bit off when I opened him, so it took me a little bit to kind of finesse that into place. He does have a swivel in the hip. He can kick out pretty far considering he does have this coat. That's not bad, because this is not like a light coat. This is very kind of dense, thick, rubbery plastic, with the exception of some of the parts in here. Some of the space in here, I should say. That does allow you to move the legs around a little bit. He does have a thigh cut, a little teeny bit. A little teeny bit, nothing crazy. Does have double joint at the knee, which does work pretty well. But again, he's got the coat, so it's going to be hindered a bit. He does have a swivel at the ankle, which, this is something new. We're used to seeing the big old ball joints in the ankles, but this is just a cut joint where it's, well hidden. So it's pretty much a seamless articulation point, which I much prefer to the ball joint in the ankle. That and the ankle itself is much tighter this way, so that is awesome. Some new innovative, I should say, articulation on the Multiverse line. I dig that a lot. He does have a rocker as well. Toe joint, which is nice and tight on this side. Not so much on this side, but he does stand pretty well. Then peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the hockey puck stand. So, not a perfect figure, but not bad. This is a really solid addition to the Multiverse line if you're into the crazy, wacky Batman variants. I think he's a fun figure. Am I going to take any pictures of him outside? Hell no, because I don't want to freeze my balls off. So, you know, I don't have a coat like this to go outside and sit on the cold, cold ground and take pictures of Arctic action Batman. But jokes aside, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's the new Endless Winter Batman next to a couple more interesting versions of Batman from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line, the Last Night on Earth Batman, and my personal favorite, the Death Metal Batman. Next up, here he is alongside a couple more traditional, quote-unquote, versions of Batman from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line, the White Knight Batman and the Flashpoint Batman. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, the 11 Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today, because good old Bruce Wayne is tied with good old Al Simmons here. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I know this figure may be a bit difficult to take 100% seriously and is a little bit on the hindered side as far as posability goes, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I am pretty decent when it comes to posing figures, and this one was a bit of a challenge for me. All that being said, I still really like this version of Batman. I think it's fun, I think it's cool, no pun intended, okay, maybe a little bit. And I think if you're at all interested in completing the Frost King collect-a-build figure, this is definitely one you need and probably want to pick up, because again, he's really fun. Granted, I would have liked maybe some fist hands with this guy, as opposed to just the grip hands for the Batarang. You can't really hold it. Is that thing a Batarang or is it a drone? Let me know in the comments below, because it looks more like a drone to me with the big red dot in the middle of it. But at any rate, I think this is a really cool figure, and definitely one you should check out, even if you're not interested in finishing the Collect-a-Build Frost King figure, which, oh boy, that's looking really promising right now. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep your comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.